It was a warm afternoon in downtown Manhattan, and the cafe on Fifth Avenue buzzed with the usual hum of hurried footsteps, clinking cups, and quiet chatter. People moved with purpose, glued to their phones, or carried on conversations about business deals and weekend plans. Yet amid the ordinary rhythm of city life, a single encounter was about to disrupt the ordinary, leaving an imprint that neither participant would forget. Ava Carter, a young black woman in her mid-20s, walked briskly down the street. Her strides were confident, her posture upright, and her eyes sharp with focus. She had an aura of intelligence and determination that made people take notice without realizing why. Ava had grown up in a modest neighborhood in Atlanta, the daughter of a school teacher and a mechanic. From a young age, she had a thirst for knowledge that nothing could quench. While her peers played outside or watched television, Ava spent hours at the local library, poring over books in foreign languages, fascinated by the sounds and nuances of words that were not her own. By the time she reached college, Ava could speak 3 languages fluently: French, Spanish, and Mandarin. She did not stop there. Over the years, she added Arabic, Russian, German, Japanese, and Italian to her repertoire. She even had working knowledge of Swahili and Hindi. Her love for languages was not for show. It was a gateway to understanding cultures, people, and the world in a way that went beyond mere geography or travel. That afternoon, Ava had an appointment that she had been nervously anticipating for weeks. She had been invited to meet with Jonathan Harrington, a billionaire investor whose portfolio included tech startups, luxury hotels, and even a small chain of art galleries in Europe. Jonathan was known for his sharp mind and his sharper ego. He rarely met with people outside of his inner circle, especially young women of color from backgrounds that did not match the polished, elite world he inhabited. When Ava entered the cafe, Jonathan was already there, seated at a corner table by the window. He was tall, impeccably dressed in a tailored navy suit, with salt and pepper hair that gave him an air of authority. He sipped his espresso with the kind of precision that suggested he measured every aspect of life from time to temperature. His piercing eyes scanned the room, and they briefly landed on Ava, who approached with a calm but purposeful demeanor. "Double quotes, Miss Carter," he said, extending a hand. "I'm Jonathan Harrington. It's a pleasure to finally meet you." "Pleasure is mine, Mr. Harrington," Ava replied, shaking his hand firmly. She noticed the slight smirk on his face as he took in her appearance, the casual elegance of her outfit, the subtle confidence in her stance. They sat, and for the first few minutes, the conversation was polite and guarded. Jonathan asked about her background, her education, and her work experience. Ava answered concisely, but with depth, sharing her journey from the streets of Atlanta to the lecture halls of Ivy League universities, and finally to the world of international business consulting, where her language skills gave her access to clients and markets that few others could reach. As the discussion progressed, Jonathan's questions grew sharper, almost skeptical. "You've worked with clients in so many countries," he asked, his voice tinged with doubt. "And you claim to speak all these languages? 9, did you say?" Ava smiled, sensing both the challenge and the disbelief behind his words. "Sir, 9 languages fluently, and a few more at conversational levels. Would you like me to demonstrate?" Jonathan leaned back, crossing his arms, a look of amusement crossing his face. "Demonstrate. I've met a lot of people who exaggerate their skills. It's rare for someone to genuinely master that many languages. Go ahead, impress me." Ava's smile widened, a quiet confidence radiating from her. She switched effortlessly, first greeting him in French. Then, without pause, she continued in Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, Russian, German, Japanese, Italian, and Swahili. Each phrase. It was not only grammatically perfect, but also spoken with the correct accent and intonation. Jonathan blinked. Once, twice. His smirk faltered, replaced by an expression of disbelief. He cleared his throat, unsure of how to respond. I didn't expect that, he admitted, leaning forward. Most people can barely manage 1 foreign language. 9 is astonishing. Ava leaned back in her chair, her demeanor calm. And poised? Language is not just about speaking words, Mr. Harrington. It's about understanding people, their culture, their way of thinking. That's the real power behind communication. Jonathan, still slightly stunned, nodded slowly. He had always prided himself on spotting talent, but Ava was something else entirely. There was a spark in her that went beyond intelligence, a mix of passion, dedication, and authenticity that could not be faked. The conversation shifted from language to business. Ava outlined her ideas for a new consulting initiative aimed at helping tech companies expand into emerging markets. She spoke about the importance of cultural fluency, how language skills could prevent costly misunderstandings, and how empathy and communication could unlock opportunities that data alone could not. Jonathan listened intently, occasionally jotting notes in his leather-bound notebook. He asked probing questions, testing Ava's knowledge and experience. But each time she responded with clarity, confidence, and examples drawn from her real-world experience. It became clear that she was not just a polyglot, but a visionary, with a deep understanding of global markets. Hours passed without either noticing. By the time the cafe's staff began signaling the approaching evening, Jonathan had made up his mind. He leaned back, a rare smile breaking across his face. "Ava," he said, his tone almost reverent, "I have met many talented people in my life, but very few who combine intellect, skill, and presence the way you do. I want you to join me as a lead consultant for my international ventures." Ava's heart raced, but she maintained her composure. "Mr. Harrington, I'm honored by your offer, but I want to make sure I can add real value. This is not just about a title or a paycheck, it's about making an impact." Jonathan's smile widened. "Pact is exactly what I expect. I believe you can deliver it better than anyone I've ever met." Over the next few weeks, Ava joined Jonathan's team, quickly proving herself indispensable. She negotiated deals in languages Jonathan did not even understand, bridged cultural gaps that had stalled projects for months, and introduced innovative strategies that expanded his business into markets previously considered too risky. Her reputation grew, not just for her linguistic abilities, but for her vision and her unwavering integrity. Yet for Ava, the journey was never just about personal success. She used her platform to mentor young people, especially girls from underrepresented backgrounds, showing them that talent, determination, and education could break barriers that society often erected. She spoke at conferences, universities, and community centers, always emphasizing the importance of curiosity, resilience, and the power of communication. Jonathan, meanwhile, continued to marvel at her abilities. What had begun as mild skepticism had transformed into genuine admiration and respect. He had learned an invaluable lesson from Ava, that intelligence and skill could not always be measured by appearances, credentials, or pedigree. Sometimes it came in the form of a young woman who spoke 9 languages and wore her knowledge not as a shield, but as a bridge to the world. Their initial meeting became legendary in the circles of high finance and international business. The story of the black girl who spoke 9 languages and stunned the millionaire circulated widely, not as a tale of mere talent, but as a testament to what dedication and authenticity could achieve in a world often dominated by superficial judgments. Years later, Ava reflected on that day in the cafe. She realized that her ability to speak multiple languages was never just about words. It was about connection, empathy, and understanding. It was about seeing the humanity in every person she met and using her skills to create opportunities where none existed. And in doing so, she had not only transformed her own life, but had also left a lasting impact on a world that had once doubted her. Ava Carter's story became more than a personal triumph. It became a symbol of possibility. She had shattered stereotypes, exceeded expectations, and reminded the world that true brilliance is recognized not by bravado or wealth, but by talent, perseverance, and the courage to embrace one's unique gifts. And so, the day she spoke 9 languages to a millionaire in a cafe on Fifth Avenue remained a defining moment, not because it impressed Jonathan Harrington, though it certainly did, but because it marked the beginning of a journey where Ava's voice, knowledge, and vision would change countless lives around the globe.